House flipping is freaking simple. You guys make it really complex. I know how it goes when I'm learning something new as well. You got all these things coming at you and you don't know what the signal versus noise is. That's what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to try to show you the whole business as quickly as I can to show you what actually matters instead of all this fluff. All right, so I'm going to break it down on my iPad here. Here's what you need to know. There's like this line. I call it the line of livability. Okay, here you go. Right here. Houses on this side are not livable. Houses on this side are livable. Here are the range of comps. This is what people try to sell houses for. This is your ARV, the comps. A realtor runs the BPO. This is what all the nice houses in the neighborhood are selling for. Somebody bought it and they flipped it. Usually what that means, albeit there are other strategies to making them the nicest in the neighborhood. But most people are talking about comps in this range of comps area. And everybody is trying to bring the house to the range of comps. They're putting in the new countertops and the new kitchen and the new floors and stuff to make it equivalent to the rest of the nice houses in the neighborhood. Okay, you have this line here, which I call barely bankable. These are this is your grandma's house, you know. It's outdated. And you know, you might buy it and do a cosmetic renovation, moving it to the range of comps. And then you have here and here. Okay, this is your bombed out houses. All right, a lot of you guys are buying these bombed out houses. You got to gut them. You got to take the drywall off. You have to redo the mechanical, electrical, plumbing. And the goal is to bring these all the way over to the range of comps. And then you have this area right here. I actually call this, usually I call this the mirage. Okay, because what happens is you buy it and then you think that you can just push it forward to the range of comps over the line of livable, but you can't. And you end up actually having to gut it, take it back to bombed out. Okay, so this is the first issue, is a deal on the front end. Okay, if you bought here at $100,000, you bought it at value at $100,000, but then you had to gut it. You had to spend, let's say, $20,000 to get it there. So now it's worth less money. People aren't going to pay $100,000 for it. So you actually came out of the money before you're trying to take it to the money. That is stupid. Okay, that makes no sense whatsoever. And this is why most of you guys fail. Okay, sorry, not most of you guys fail. Most people do fail in house flipping because they watch too much HGTV and they think that's how reality is. So if I was going to buy this house here, I would not buy it for $100,000. I would buy it for $50,000 or whatever. And I would have that explanation in the sales pitch. Like, hey, I'm going to have to demo this whole thing. And then I'm going to have to pay for all the crap that's inside the walls that's wrong because I'll have to pull permits on it. I'll have to do all this work. Therefore, here would be my offer. That is what I'm talking about with getting a deal on the front end. A lot of people hear deal and they think, oh, what he means is he's going to screw people over and pay less for the house. No, not really. I just know what houses are worth. Okay. And yes, of course, I'm taking risk. You are taking risk as an investor. So you should have a profit margin on it. That makes sense. Okay. So the deal. You get the deal. This is what a deal actually means, is to get it for its value. And its value is the value today, what somebody would actually pay for it today, plus the cost of renovation, plus your profit margin, which should be around 20% of the money that you have in the deal. So if the value today was 100K plus the cost, the renovation, plus the interest payments, plus the closing costs, plus all of the other costs is another 60K. Okay, I'm gonna have 160 into it. So I would wanna make at least 20% of that as profit. Okay, and by the way, guys, the flipping calculator, which you might or might not know, is exactly how this is built. This is free for you guys, especially if you're in my community. Just go to the classroom tab and go to tools. It's in the downloads deal. But anyway, this is all built in already, so it takes just that. If I want to make a rate of return of 15 to 20, it's going to tell me exactly what my acquisition price should be. Okay, this is all built in, and this is explainable. So that's how, whether you're buying a house direct, whether you're buying it from a realtor, or if you're buying it through a wholesaler, if you can explain how your number was derived, it has a lot more behind it. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is the strategy. The strategy is basically setting up your scope of work, what the heck you're going to do to the house. And this is, I talked about it earlier, the HGTV dilemma. Now, going back to this whole deal right here, what most people think is that actually because this is what they teach you on HGTV, you buy the house wherever, and then you do a bunch of like challenges and stuff, and challenge like, oh, I'm gonna do this custom design in this bathroom and this custom design in this other bathroom, and we're gonna pick which one's nicer. It's gonna be a cool design off thing, and well, that's how you blow a lot of money. That's cool for HGTV because they make their money by you watching their stuff, and the truth is, for investors, this whole thing where people complain about, oh, it's an investor bought it and it's gray and white and it is so vanilla. Yes, great. That means it's consistent. That means that you know what it would cost. Okay, so HGTV tells you that what you actually do is you take the range of comps, like we talked about earlier, and instead of making it there, you try to push it all the way past that. Okay, you try to make it so it's nicer than every other house in the neighborhood, and that's how you know that it's a great flip. And that's what failed investors do. Okay, because this here, everything beyond the range of comps, everything beyond the statistical likelihood of the sales price of the house, because you're looking at other houses that have sold for that exact price in that exact neighborhood. If it's anything beyond that, it's called speculation, okay, AKA gambling. Go to the casino, guys. Same thing, all right? You don't know that it will sell for that. Nobody knows. You're just guessing. You're hoping and praying that it will sell for that amount. That's stupid, okay? HGTV can do that, and they probably do sell their houses for more. Not probably because they did a custom bathroom design off and spent $20,000 per bathroom. It's probably because in the listing description, they say, hey, this is a HGTV house. And people are like, oh, it'd be so cool to own an HGTV house. And not only that, they probably promote it in a different way than you might, right? Okay. So that's a dumb strategy. So we want to really not take it beyond. What I'm doing is I'm like taking it to the very bottom of that. I'm going to look at like, what are the construction comps? What did people do? What kind of floors did they put in? What kind of cabinets did they put in? What kind of countertops did they put in? What did they do to the bathrooms? Is it like a tiled enclosed shower, or is it just like one of those shower enclosures? Okay, well, if everybody else is doing shower enclosures, I'm sure as hell not going to put subway tile in there. I'm not going to get my money back for it. Okay, so I'm going to take the baseline of what everybody did, and I'm going to do the baseline. Okay, now I am going to push it a little bit into that range of comps by some advanced strategies. I call it the big three, right? Just imagine this as you're somebody going to buy a house, okay? And you start to develop a picture of that house as soon as you read the description online. You read the description online, you look at the pictures, and you're like, oh my gosh, I really, I feel good about this house right now. And then you drive up to the house, and well, it's looking great. It's got the picket fence. It's got like nice landscaping in the yard. The front porch has like all the things. It's got like the beam, and it's got maybe a couple new windows on the front, maybe some shutters on the front. It looks really cute. It looks exactly like what you imagine. And then you walk in the front door, okay, and you see like something. I don't know what the feature is. Hopefully it's a kitchen. It's cool if you can see a kitchen right up front, and then I can have like a hood vent or whatever. Okay, this is what I call the big three, right? I think about how somebody's going to approach the house, and I think about the first three things that they're going to see. Okay, so in this case, picket fence. It was like the landscaping and like the curb appeal of the front. And then when they walk in the door, what are a couple things they're going to see? Okay, if it's a bathroom that's right there by the front door, I might go above and beyond the baseline. I might go and I might say that here I am going to do the tile, even though the rest of the neighborhood doesn't have tile. I'm going to do it because that's one of the first three things that they see. And what I'm doing is I am creating the filter through which they see the rest of the house. People make a decision on whether they're going to buy within a few seconds of being there. Okay, so you want to create that filter, and then they will see the rest of the house through rose-colored glasses. If the front of the house looks crappy, they drive through the neighborhood, that neighbor's got like tarps everywhere, and then there's junk in the front yard, like you got the paint buckets, like I've seen this before, and people are like, oh no, somebody's coming to pick them up. I'm like, you're wasting like the best people, the most likely people to buy your house are the first ones that come, and you're wasting it on these paint buckets outside. Like, get the crap together, man. Okay, and so creating the filter for them, and then they walk through the house, boom. Now, same thing, if the bathroom was in the back half of the house, I don't care. I'm going to do like the minimum I can possibly do on that bathroom, because I know that everything beyond like that big three is basically I just want to make sure that they don't get unsold on the house. They get sold on the first three things they see. Make sure they don't get unsold. If you do really crappy work and like unsafe things and shoddy stuff throughout the house, yes, you can take that back. But anyway, so that's the strategy. Okay, and I've made other videos on like permitting and grandfathering and such. Like, I don't know how to say this without you guys getting all antsy thinking we're cutting corners here, because we're not cutting corners. Okay, cutting corners is where you do shady crap and hide it. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. The first thing we do is make sure safety and liability is taken care of on these houses. You guys making sure safety and liability is taken care of. Okay, but after that, it is about selling a house. Okay, and so cutting corners is shady, but being smart about the scope of work you make is what separates the pro investors from the ones that lose money. Okay, I see it all the time. Next is the construction itself. Okay, now notice that we're constantly talking about the money here, because we're running a freaking business. All right, it's not a portfolio where you're just going to show pictures to your friends and feel proud of that. Like, I see investors do this all the time. They like pull out the phones to show me the pictures of the cool flip they did, and I'm like, well, I know you're probably going to lose money. And that's because it's not about that. That is a cool thing, but if it's an art project to you, it's a hobby, okay? And it's not what we do here. So if you want to run a successful house flipping and real estate investment organization, you think about it like a business, not like an art show. And that's okay if you solve the business part and then you can layer the art show part on top of it. But the cake is the business. The icing is the fun stuff. Okay. 3 is the work itself. Okay, and I'm just going to break it down real simple, getting this work done. And the main thing that you need to know is, yes, you set up the scope of work, and that is what you're getting people to bid. And you, 2 things. One is bids that you get are arbitrary. Is that the right word? They're not concrete. They're not based upon anything at all. People are going to look at the scope of work. You're going to get people to come in and bid. They're going to look at the scope of work, and this is the question they're going to be asking. I know. I owned multiple construction companies throughout my life. This is the main question. How much money could I make on this? Okay, if you look like a newbie, you look like somebody who can be preyed upon, you will be preyed upon. Okay, that doesn't mean that you need to puff out your chest and be a douchebag. It means that you need to know what you're talking about. You need to study this stuff. And if you're watching this, you probably are already studying this. But you need to come out there with some authority. If you look like the new guy, you will get stomped on. I promise you. Okay, so don't look that way. Know what you're talking about, and that's why you're here. All right, so first, these numbers, they come out of nowhere. Just like think about the all-arounder types that we hire. This is what they're going to do. They're going to look at the amount of work. They're going to be thinking about, oh, how many days is that going to take? And then they're going to think, what do I got to pay the guys per day? And that's where they're going to come from their number. But first, before they do all that, they're going to be thinking, what would this guy take as a bid? Okay, so first thing is everything is you can push back on it. And the way that I always push back on things is just by breaking it down that way. So we got, this bid looks a little bit high. And I'm thinking that, this here would take, like 2 guys a day? So like we're talking a couple man days. And like, you probably pay the guys $200 a day or something like that. And so what is that? $400 for this thing in labor. And I know that you're going to need to make a profit on this. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. In fact, I want you to make a profit. I'm just trying to make sure that we are seeing the job the same way. Maybe you're thinking I want something that I don't want, right? I'm giving them a chance to reprice here is basically what I'm doing. And I just break all the things down like that. So it's labor, a few man days, so it's like $1,000 plus the material is going to be like $1,600. Maybe you're thinking that I was going to do something different. And now I've given them the chance to reprice it. Usually they do because the numbers just come out of thin air, guys. I'm telling you, they don't have a freaking spreadsheet that says this thing costs this much. You couldn't anyway. I tried. Okay. And I'm sure people are going to say something about that as well. But I have tried to systematize the crap out of this and say that this costs exactly that and this costs exactly. There's just a lot of variables in there. It depends who's doing the job, what kind of skills they have. It depends on what you find inside of things. It depends on what they have at the store. It's so difficult to figure that out. So the reality is you set a budget, you set a scope of work with a budget, and you say, damn it, I'm going to manage myself to that budget. I'm going to figure out how to make it happen. So, there are some projects out there, hope my contractors aren't watching this, where I got a great deal on it and I set the budget a little bit too high. So, I know that's a little bit high, but whatever, it's going to fit. It's going to all work out. I usually am not like that, by the way, because I'm just a cheap guy. But anyway, you get the idea. Now, this is the most important thing about the work is always be ahead of the money. Always be ahead of the money. And this goes throughout the whole project, from deal all the way through strategy. You're always thinking about being ahead of the money. You're always thinking about moving forward on the line of livability, not back where you're actually out of the money. You buy a deal on the front end so you have equity from the day that you buy it, and then you keep pushing it forward so every day you have more and more equity, or at least you don't have less, and then eventually you get to the end and you get a lot more equity. When you make the strategy, you're always thinking about, I don't want to spend money that doesn't return money to me. Money, because it's a business, guys, not because you're greedy. It's because if you really want to live the lifestyle, the great lifestyle that comes with being a real estate investor and the freedom that truly comes with it, nobody can stop you from doing it. There's no reviews, no crap. AI is not going to come in here and take over renovations. People are always going to need a place to live. It's not only an investment, but it can also be your day job, flipper, holding as real estate, as long-term real estate. It is the best thing they can be, but it is a business. Okay, you got to make money doing it so you can really get your toes in the water. And once you get past a certain point, it gets way easier. Biggest thing with the work, always got to be ahead of the money with the contractor. That means that if they bid a job, or a grouping of jobs for $10,000, okay, and they ask for 50% up front, I'm gonna say, dude, I can't do that. And they're gonna say, oh, that's the only way we do it. Then you're going to have to do it with somebody else. I'll find somebody who will do it the way that I want to do it. Now, there are things that I understand, Mr. Contractor, that you don't want to go buy a bunch of materials and stuff. You don't know me just like I don't know you. And so you don't want to go buy a bunch of materials and, I might screw you because, I get it. Contractors get screwed by customers all the time. And so what we'll do is I'll set up a Home Depot Pro account. And you can go to Home Depot, you can build a shopping cart, and then they do what's called phone sales. And the person up at the pro desk, they call me or actually do a text to confirm, and I can see everything that they want to buy. And I say, yep, agreed. Or I say, the hell's a Gatorade doing on there? I'm not buying Gatorades, right? Or maybe I want to be nice. But anyway, I look at those things, and it's actually like a built-in management tool, because I get to see, why are you buying regular 2x4s when you're doing a deck? It's supposed to be pressure treated for a deck. Are you messing something up? Probably messing something up. Happens all the time. All right, so the materials I will purchase up front. Now, I don't want to be a material guy running to and from job sites all the time. However, I do want to, I do like the materials ultimately to go through me because of the management tool. All right, now I have taken out that objection that they have, that they don't want to put their money out front. Now they're just putting labor out front. And listen, guy, back to the contractor conversation, I get your stance as well. You know, you might do weeks of labor and not get paid for it. I will pay you in whatever increments you want. Okay, I will come there, you know, especially as we're building trust here, I will come there at the end of every day, give you a check right on the spot. Okay, hopefully we can like get past that eventually, but I am just not going to pay you before you do work. I've been burnt too many times. I've seen too many people be burnt, and you know, whatever. If you have so many jobs that you don't need to take mine, see ya. It's that simple, guys. I mean, there are like a few cases where that doesn't work. Not in this game though. Okay, that's like when you get into the like more commercial stuff, there are situations where like it's just not going to work. But they're like more reputable companies that have websites, and they have like they have other things to lose. I'm telling you, most of the guys that you're going to deal with in this arena are probably, they don't have that much foundation. Not that they're not great companies, not that they don't have a great like word of mouth thing, but it would be easier for them to go by the wayside. So I mean, I'm getting blown up by phone calls right now. I got a commercial rental on the market. Jeez, it's getting wild. Not what we talk about here, by the way, but anyway, I was building my new office, commercial development, building my new office. I was going to move there, and then I figured out what I could rent it for. And I was like, well, guess I'm going to stay in this old office because I'd rather just rent it out and make money every month. Okay, so the work, and then finally it's putting it on the market. Nothing to say about putting it on the market. Guys, the market is what the market is. I have some strategies. You can go to the free community that's in the description below and figure out all that kind of stuff. But that's not really where it's at. I used to think that, you know, you had to have a construction business and that's how you were going to make money in this game. No, you need a construction business to protect your butt. It's like the defense. You need to get deals on the front end. That's how you actually do this. You're ahead from the start. The project management is the defense. The offense is getting a great deal, writing a great scope of work. And then the market is what the market is. If you've done your range of comps correctly, you know that house is going to sell for $350,000. I just need to do my job getting it to that standard and then let it do its thing. If every house in that market has sold for $350,000, you're just not going to sell it for $370,000. It's just the way it is. Okay. And so don't be silly about it. In fact, one of the worst things you can do is overprice the house, then it sits there for too long. And as we talked about filters before, sits there for too long. And then people start looking at it like, why has this house been on the market for longer than the other houses? Is there something wrong with this house? And then it's got a negative filter right from the start. And then it gets even harder to sell. It's the spiraling out of control, the flywheel of death. Don't want that. It's always better to price things a little bit lower. Hard to do, but it's better. Okay, guys, thanks for hanging out. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.